Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fluency Duo, the podcast where we have honest, real conversations about learning English and actually help you get better at it.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Sam. And Alex, I want to start today with a confession.
Oh, here we go.
A few years ago, I had a student, really smart, really dedicated. She watched English movies every single day. She read English articles every morning with her coffee. She listened to English podcasts on her commute. Her comprehension was honestly impressive.
She sounds like a model student.
She was, until one day I asked her, completely casually, "So, what did you get up to this weekend?"
Simple question.
The simplest question, and she just stopped, looked at me, opened her mouth, closed it again, and then said in a very small voice, "I don't know how to say."
Oh, that moment. I know that moment so well.
And the thing is, she did know. She knew the words, she knew the grammar, but the second she had to produce something to actually speak, everything disappeared.
And that experience, that freeze, that gap between understanding English and actually speaking it, that is exactly what today's episode is about.
Because if that story sounds familiar, if you have ever understood everything but frozen the moment you needed to speak, you are not alone. And more importantly, it is not your fault, and there's a very specific reason it happens.
Today, we're going to explain exactly why it happens and give you 10 practical exercises, 5 for writing and 5 for speaking, that will actually fix it.
These are exercises you can start today, not next week, today.
And at the end, our word tour with the best vocabulary from this episode.
Let's get into it.
Understanding the problem. Input versus output.
Okay, Alex, let's start with the core problem, because I think once people understand why this happens, the solution makes complete sense.
Agreed. So, there are 2 sides to language learning, 2 sides that most people never think about separately, input and output.
Input is everything that goes in, everything you receive. Listening, that's input. Reading, that's input. Watching a movie, input. Your brain is absorbing information.
And output is everything that comes out, speaking, output, writing, output. Your brain is producing information.
Now, here's the thing. How do most people learn English?
They watch movies, they listen to music, they follow YouTube channels, they read articles, they listen to podcasts, hopefully this one.
All of which are?
Input. All input. Every single one.
So is it really surprising that people's input is strong but their output is weak?
Not at all. It makes complete sense. You've spent hundreds of hours training one side of your brain, the receiving side, and almost no time training the producing side.
It's like going to the gym and only training your right arm for 2 years. Then one day someone asks you to lift something with your left arm and you wonder why it's weak.
That is such a good analogy. Your left arm didn't fail you, you just never trained it.
Exactly. And this is actually really good news because it means the problem isn't your intelligence, it isn't your memory, it isn't your grammar. It's simply practice, the right kind of practice.
And that's what we're giving you today. 10 input exercises specifically designed to train your output, your speaking and writing muscles.
5 for writing and 5 for speaking. We start easy and build up. Ready?
Let's go. 5 writing exercises.
Writing first, because writing is actually the gentler starting point for output training. You have time to think, you can edit, there's no pressure.
Writing regularly builds something really valuable. It trains your brain to organize thoughts in English, and that directly helps your speaking too.
Exercise 1, the one-sentence reaction.
This is the simplest possible starting point, and that's exactly why it works. Every time you watch a video, listen to a podcast, or read something in English, write one sentence about it. Just one.
Not an essay, not a paragraph, one sentence. What did you think? How did it make you feel? What did you learn?
For example, after listening to this episode, you might write, "Today I learned that my speaking is weak because I have never practiced my output."
That's it. One sentence. But here's why it's powerful. You're training your brain to process English and then produce something in English. That habit alone starts building the bridge between input and output.
And if you're listening on YouTube right now, do it in the comments. Write one sentence about this episode. We read everything.
Exercise 2, the 5-minute daily journal.
Every day, just 5 minutes. Write 5 to 10 sentences about your day. What happened? How did you feel? What are you looking forward to tomorrow?
And here's the important thing. Do not worry about perfect grammar at the stage at all. The only goal right now is to get English coming out of you, onto the page, every single day.
Think of it as warming up your engine. Your engine doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to start.
5 sentences, 5 minutes, every day. Do it before bed, do it with your morning coffee, do it whenever works, but do it every day.
Consistency matters infinitely more than perfection here.
Exercise 3, the topic paragraph.
Now we go up a level. Choose a simple, personal topic, something you actually have feelings about, and write one full paragraph, at least 100 words.
Good topics to start with. What makes me happy? My perfect weekend. The best advice I ever received. A person who inspired me. A place I'll never forget.
These topics work because you already know the content. You're not researching anything, you're just expressing what's already inside you, but in English.
And at this level, grammar starts to matter. You want to be accurate. So after you write your paragraph, use an AI tool like ChatGPT or Claude to check it.
Give it this prompt. I am practicing my English writing. Please find my grammar and vocabulary mistakes, explain why they're wrong, and show me the corrected version.
Then read the feedback carefully. Don't just copy the corrections. Understand why you made each mistake. That's where the real learning happens.
Exercise 4, the opinion piece.
Now we're getting serious. Choose a topic that requires you to think, not just describe, but argue, express an opinion, and support it.
Topics like, should students have homework? Is social media good or bad for society? Is working from home better than working in an office?
Write 3 paragraphs. Introduction, your opinion. Middle, your reasons and examples. Conclusion, your summary.
This is challenging because you're not just writing words, you're structuring an argument in English. And that kind of structured thinking is exactly what makes speaking more fluent.
Automatically when you speak.
Use the AI feedback prompt again here. At this level, grammar, vocabulary, and structure all matter.
Exercise 5, the English Conversation Journal.
This one is a little different, and I love it. After any real conversation you have in English, however short, write down what you said, what the other person said, and what you wished you had said but couldn't.
That last part is gold because that gap between what you wanted to say and what you actually managed to say, that is exactly where your learning lives.
Write it down. Look up the phrases you needed, practice them, and next time you'll have them ready.
Think of it as a personal phrasebook built from your own real-life conversations. Nobody else has that resource. It's completely yours.
5 speaking exercises.
Okay, speaking. And Alex, I want to say something before we start.
Go ahead.
A lot of learners feel embarrassed about speaking practice. They feel silly talking to themselves. They're afraid of making mistakes in front of others. And I just want to say that feeling is completely normal. Every single fluent English speaker you admire went through exactly the same stage.
Every single one.
The embarrassment is not a sign that you're bad at English. It's a sign that you care. And caring is actually the first ingredient of getting better.
Beautifully said. Okay, exercise 1 for speaking. Read aloud every day.
Simple, underestimated, incredibly effective. Pick anything, a paragraph from a book, an article, a page from a graded reader, and read it out loud. Every day, 10 minutes.
Now, people sometimes ask, isn't that just reading? How does that help speaking?
Great question. When you read aloud, you're training what we call your speaking muscles, your mouth, your tongue, your breath control, your rhythm. Speaking is a physical skill as much as a mental one. And like any physical skill, it needs repetition to become natural.
Think of it as pronunciation training, fluency training, and confidence building all in one simple exercise.
Start slowly, focus on being clear, then gradually try to sound more natural, more like you're telling a story than reading a page.
Exercise 2, the mirror technique.
Take that same reading aloud practice, but now stand up, Walk around the room, look at yourself in the mirror, and instead of just reading, imagine you are presenting this to an audience.
You're not just reading words anymore. You're delivering them to people who are listening, even if those people are imaginary.
And this does something really interesting to your brain. It starts converting a passive input style activity, reading, into an active output style activity, presenting.
Your posture changes, your energy changes, your voice projection changes, and slowly your brain starts associating English with production, not just reception.
Exercise 3, the shadowing technique.
This is one of the most well-known speaking techniques in language learning, and for good reason. It works.
Here's how. Find a video of a native English speaker you admire, someone with a clear, natural accent. It could be a presenter, a podcaster, a TED Talk speaker, anyone you find engaging.
And then play a sentence, pause, repeat. Play the next sentence, pause, repeat. Don't rush. Focus on matching not just the words, but the rhythm, the intonation, the natural pauses.
You're not just copying words, you're copying the music of the language, the way it flows, the way it rises and falls.
And over time, that music becomes yours. Your English starts to sound natural because you've absorbed the natural patterns of the language.
Try doing this for just 10 minutes a day. The improvement in your pronunciation and fluency will genuinely surprise you.
Exercise 4, talk to yourself. Seriously.
I know how that sounds.
It sounds a little bit crazy.
It sounds completely crazy, but it is one of the most effective speaking exercises that exists, and almost nobody does it because they feel embarrassed.
Here's the thing though, every thought you already have in your head, you're already talking to yourself. All we're asking you to do is switch the language.
So instead of thinking in your first language, start narrating your life in English. You're making breakfast. I'm making eggs this morning. I need to remember to buy more coffee today. You're walking to work. It's a bit cold today. I should have worn a warmer jacket.
You're not performing for anyone. There's no audience, no judgment, no pressure. Just you practicing the output muscle in the safest possible environment.
And then take it further. Set up imaginary scenarios. Practice a job interview in your head. Explain your favorite film to an imaginary friend. Describe your weekend to an imaginary colleague.
The more you do this, the faster real conversations start to feel manageable because your brain has already rehearsed them.
And look, yes, people might think you're a little eccentric if they caught you doing it, but we fully support you.
And I want to frame this one carefully because I know for many learners, this feels like the most terrifying step.
But it's also the most important one, because ultimately, language is connection. You're learning English to communicate with people, and the only way to really practice that is with people.
And here's the thing, you don't need to start with native speakers. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start.
Find a language exchange partner, someone learning your first language while you're learning English. You help them, they help you. Both of you improve.
Or join an online community of English learners at a similar level. Practice conversations with people who understand exactly what you're going through because they're going through it too.
Or use an AI tool like Claude or ChatGPT in voice mode. Just start a conversation, talk about your day, ask questions, make mistakes. It won't judge you.
The goal of this exercise is not to be perfect. The goal is simply to open your mouth and produce English for another person, or even for an AI, whatever gets you started.
Because every single conversation, however imperfect, makes the next one a little easier.
The mindset shift.
Alex, before we get to the word tour, I want to talk about something that I think is just as important as any exercise.
Mindset.
Mindset. Because I see so many learners do everything right. They practice, they study, they listen, and then one small mistake completely derails them. They feel ashamed, they go quiet, they give up for a week.
And that cycle, that shame spiral, is one of the biggest obstacles in language learning, more than grammar, more than vocabulary.
So I want to say something clearly to everyone listening right now. Mistakes are not evidence that you're failing. Mistakes are evidence that you're trying, and trying is the only way to get better.
Think about it this way. Every mistake you make in English is a piece of data. It's your brain saying, here's a gap, let's fill it. That's not failure, that's the learning process working exactly as it should.
And the learners who improve the fastest are not the ones who make the fewest mistakes. They're the ones who make the most because they're the ones who are trying the most.
So make mistakes boldly, make them loudly, make them in public if you have to, and then learn from them and keep going.
One more thing. Progress in language learning is not always visible day to day. But if you look back at yourself 3 months ago, you will see it. And not backward comparison is the only one that matters.
Not comparing yourself to a native speaker, not comparing yourself to a classmate who started before you, just comparing yourself to the version of you from 3 months ago.
Are you better, even a little bit? Then you're succeeding.
Word tour.
Okay, word tour time. Let's slow down and review the best vocabulary from today's episode.
These are words that will help you talk about learning, progress, skills, and mindset in English and in real life.
Word 1. Output. Output is the information or results that you produce. In language learning, speaking and writing are your output. My listening is strong, but I need to work on my output, especially speaking. Repeat. Output. Output.
Word 2. Input. Input is the information you receive or absorb. In language learning, listening and reading are input. She has excellent input. She reads and listens in English every day. Repeat. Input. Input.
Word 3. Fluency. Fluency is the ability to speak or write smoothly and naturally without long pauses or constant searching for words. Real fluency comes not from studying more, but from practicing output consistently. Repeat. Fluency. Fluency.
Word 4. Muscle memory. Muscle memory is when a skill becomes so automatic through repetition that your body or brain does it without conscious thought. Reading aloud every day builds muscle memory for natural English pronunciation. Repeat. Muscle memory. Muscle memory.
Word 5. Intonation. Intonation is the rise and fall of your voice when you speak, the melody of language. It affects meaning and makes speech sound natural. When you use the shadowing technique, pay attention to the speaker's intonation, not just their words. Repeat. Intonation. Intonation.
Word 6. Consistency. Consistency means doing something regularly over time, not perfectly, but reliably. In language learning, consistency beats intensity every time. It's not about studying for 5 hours on Sunday. Consistency, 15 minutes every day, is what builds real fluency. Repeat. Consistency. Consistency.
Word 7. Comprehension. Comprehension is your ability to understand something, to make sense of what you read or hear. Her reading comprehension is excellent, but her spoken output still needs more practice. Repeat. Comprehension. Comprehension.
And our final word, rehearse. To rehearse means to practice something, especially a performance or a conversation, before the real moment arrives. Talking to yourself is a way of rehearsing conversations before they happen in real life. Repeat. Rehearse. Rehearse.
Okay, before we go, your challenge for this week.
We're giving you 2 tasks, one for writing, one for speaking. Do both every day for 7 days.
Writing task, the 5-minute daily journal. 5 to 10 sentences every day about your day. No grammar pressure, just write.
Speaking task, 10 minutes of reading aloud. Every day, clear, natural, as if you're telling a story to a friend.
That's it. 20 minutes a day, 7 days, and we promise, by day 7, something will feel different.
And then come back here and tell us. Leave a comment in English describing your experience. Even one sentence. We read every single one.
If this episode helped you, or if it helped someone you know, please share it. One share from you can genuinely change someone else's English journey.
Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. New episodes every week.
You've been listening to the Fluency Duo.
Keep going. You're doing better than you think. See you next time.
Ooh, yeah. planting new words so they can grow. Every sentence soft and slow, watching our confidence start to glow. Side by side